October 28, 2021. Butterflies. Sisters leave. Even if they don't think they will, they do. Off finding something greener, what a keener, but if not me, then who? I didn't know how different it could be. Before now, I was starving, seeking safety. Do the caterpillars know why they are hungry? Does the chrysalis hurt? Does the metamorphosis change feel the same way, like it's carving me out of new dirt? Does the butterfly know it will fly, with paper-thin gliders across the sky? Freedom in the flight, but did the transformation hurt? Are your wings painful to use if you get too high? Tell me so I can walk forward towards your footprints in the dirt. Having faith and trust feels as hard as finding pixie dust. October 29th, 2021. Someone taught you once, in another life, with gentle, loving hands that guided yours until you were ready to teach another, with the same love and care bestowed you. When the generations are interrupted by wars and greed, massive change, the time to teach with loving gentleness was gone. And now you're here, in this world without a teacher, with loving hands. Your teacher was firm and cruel, harsh and restrictive. It is the purpose of this collective healing path to heal the generational tear that was caused by so much destruction. To learn how to decolonize and deprogram propaganda is the privilege of our generation, to have the time and safety to heal. Pandemic babies being smarter/more advanced than the previous generations is thanks to the collective healing and time isolated from major artificial stressors. I honestly believe that many of the stressful aspects of life are built that way to increase the overall stress of the population. Public transport being a great example. In places where the mental well-being of the population is accounted for positively, the trains run on time. The access to easy public services, etc. Colonization needed people to be controlled, and stressed humans are easier to control. I, in a meltdown yesterday, placed myself in a corner. This is something that may not seem traumatic to you, but as a child, this was how I was punished for my meltdowns rather than taught how to regulate. So when I found myself in the corner, I betrayed my inner child. I made myself unsafe for them. My meltdown got worse, and I had to reparent myself for the countless time. You are safe. You are not wrong for being upset. You are not going to be hurt for being upset. It's okay if you do not understand. I am here with you, rocking them back and forth in my arms, in my mind. I got you, baby. I won't ever let anyone, even me, put you in a corner again. This was a primary device my parents had for unregulated emotions. In the corner until you can calm down. Later on, it was go to your room. Solitude, when unregulated emotionally, taught me to dissociate, to bottle and hide myself. Smaller and smaller into myself until, one day when I felt like myself on the inside, I didn't recognize myself. People talk about not recognizing the old them. I have a hard time recognizing the new me. Even after months of a shaved head, I don't think that's it anymore. I think I actually look different. My muscles are more relaxed. I can almost put my shoulders down for the first time in years. Still, I feel like I'm missing something. Did I forget a part of me behind? I tried to grab all the pieces, but maybe I missed one. Come out, whoever you are. I can't go on without seeing you and saying goodbye to our memory one more time. I don't want to forget, but we can't live in the past either, my love. October 30th, 2021. I release everything from my past, forever and with finality. I free myself of bonds tied to me no matter who tied them. I welcome balance, abundance, and prosperity into the new cycle of my life and ask that the universe guides me on path of fulfillment and joy in sustainability and community. I welcome love and happiness into this new cycle of life. I release the old to welcome the new. Place the old memories on a shelf, no longer trauma tied to you like a constricting snake, merely a memory. Taking the pain and bitterness out of the memory is like sucking poison from a wound. But the antivenom is still love, is self-love. I guess the treatment is to keep pulling the records out and soothing the pain, caring for myself every day. And I want to add now that I want to express self-love every day. I have always believed that your inner world reflects your external world, and I see that truth all the time. The past few weeks have felt very blah, probably my period making symptoms worse, but keeping on course and trying to show myself kindness. My main issue in having compassion for myself is food. I have a lot of old shame tied to wasting food and not eating. It makes me nauseated thinking about it. This horrible feeling of rejection for not doing the right thing at the right time. Translated to eat this how I gave it to you, no talking back other than thank you. And you can't leave until it's gone. I was shamed and abused otherwise. Most of the early abuse took place at Dora's, mostly because that is where we were Monday to Friday from a very young age. Waking up early and going to another person's home who ignored us or abused us as a child, I had no idea how wrong this was. I thought everyone felt like me. I don't remember a lot, but what I do remember is either bad or lonely. Maybe my mind is hiding the good memories, but I doubt it. Dora's was a place I went to escape into the woods alone, to build and pretend that I was far from the real world, full of cruelty and anger. If a child's comprehension about what is happening is not high enough to understand what is happening, and when the child asks to get help understanding they are shamed and abused verbally, that is traumatizing. Before this part, divine abuse. I think we'll all know what abuse is. November 4th, 2021. The day I finally bucked up to ask for a short haircut. I ended up hating it so much. I ended up with an early aughts Karen high-low bob in grade 7. At that age, I was trying to work myself up to a pixie cut I wanted so bad. But it was so awful, and then when I came home and eventually got it fixed into a mushroom cloud bob around my ears for picture day. The worst part of the whole experience was my dad was so upset I cut my hair short, he didn't talk to me for a week. We lived together, and this grown man acted out like that to his child cutting their hair. Well, your nightmare is true. I'm transgender. No amount of silent treatment or emotional neglect will stop what was divinely made. All of life is sacred, and especially all human life is sacred, and each soul is divine. I wasn't made wrong or put in the wrong body. I was born this human being, and I will die the same human being. This person I am was born transgender non-binary. The change that is perceptible by you, the outside world, is that of a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. I am not different. I am revealed in this stage of life as this form, transformed. As natural as each caterpillar that feeds a hunger they have no idea is fueling this incredible transformation. Starving for change you cannot even fathom is possible. Does the butterfly know how it will look when it's changing? In the chrysalis, mine was so painful. The swirling goop finding the pieces that fit together in new form. Do you give the butterfly grace and patience? Do you let it take the time it needs to wait until it unfolds voluntarily? And then, even after placing them on display, they need time to find the strength and bravery to test the wings they grew. When it is time to fly, you will know. Until then, keep changing in your chrysalis. It's okay to know what you will be. It's okay not to know what you will be until when you're done. All the wings are beautiful and carry each spirit across all of Turtle Island. The day I shaved my head, I felt part of the old, ill-fitting clothes they had placed on me fall with the hair and tears, falling off me, shedding the skin of the past to fit in myself. And like a snake shedding its skin or a spider molting, I feel like I can see the dead parts slough off of me like necrotic tissue. The dead parts of me, the parasites of shame, guilt, doubt, deceit, start to become loose, even enough that I could handle them and pry them up. When the shame is sanded smooth into the mask, it needs a crowbar of healing to pry that mask off you, to reveal the human who was surviving, to take them out of survival mode, place them in a financially, environmentally, and sensory safe place for them to live and rest while they heal their nervous system. Time and rest and safety are the most important treatments for mental health. Rushing people into healing or using guilt and shame to get them back into the capitalist slave machine doesn't help them. People need secure housing, food, and financial safety before they can even think about coming out of survival mode. We treat stray dogs with more patience and compassion than the humans we push into the street. The requirement of sobriety to get shelter, a basic human right, is disgusting and shows how wrong the system thinks. The perspective of the system is that each human is assigned a value X. If you do not meet value X, you are not a human according to the governments. Things that will systemically change Canada. UBI, Universal Basic Income. Land back, Indigenous sovereignty. Rigorous research funding for mental health and queer medicine. Decolonizing government at all levels. Decolonizing medicine. Decolonizing food security. I am not afraid. If I say it over and over, reminding myself why I need to be myself out loud, then maybe it will be true. Our words are spells. Intention is powerful. If I feel that fear and face it, reveal its nasty and rotting flesh, and say, I see you, but I am not afraid of your power. I am stronger than you in that I am absolutely myself. And if you don't feel that you are being totally authentic to your natural state of being, you will not thrive because you perceive constant danger. I feel that hiding my any natural behavior in favor of another's comfort, or to stop some from being perceived by the general public as other, places the individual in survival mode, making decisions based in society and removing their choice to be rationally themselves. Observing the soft comfort. The old me would disturb your peacefulness for my own selfish emotional comfort needs. But I see that you offer me the same comfort you experience. If I just join you where you are, to sit next to the peaceful water's edge and feel the stillness rut against the harshness of the flowing river. Rapids are not chaos, but are restoring balance to the flow of the river. The river starts straight and bends to the natural shape, and then when its shape is changed, it becomes a lake. Oxbow lakes, beautiful and stoic. The wildness will teach you if you sit and listen, beyond the honking, alarms, and shame. Beyond the shame and guilt is refuge, not part of the outside world, but you will find it becomes an oasis within yourself. Place of peacefulness that will maintain the other order of balance within you. A place of peacefulness that will maintain the order of balance within you. A place of peacefulness that will maintain the order of balance within you. I sent it. The letter, the email that can save or end something life-changing. Whither, my family? Mom and Dad, I hope this letter finds you well. I love you both very much. I'm writing to you to open a dialogue about our relationship in this past year. This year, I found out I am autistic. Self-diagnosis with autism is common lately for late diagnosed people. The online resources for adults with autism are more advanced during the pandemic than the most current medical professionals. The diagnostic criteria recently changed, and more people assigned female at birth have access to the diagnosis now. Self-diagnosis will not provide access to autism-specific services, however. I'm still able to advocate for myself and apply for long-term disability for my burnout, remaining off work until I am fully recovered. Self-knowledge and education are very important to mental health and drastically affect the ability for a person to care properly for themselves and meet their needs appropriately. I have experienced sensory-seeking behaviors since I was a child, experienced autistic meltdowns when upset, lack of tone control or awareness, and peer socialization struggles since I can remember, all of which are part of the criteria. Autism presents in many different ways, but the most important thing is that now I can use those normal autistic behaviors to help my brain regulate and heal. There are many more behaviors than I can get into here. Autistic people need to constantly self-regulate sensory needs, too much or too little, and they experience a meltdown. When I used to cry when I was too tired as a teenager, that was my autism presenting as a meltdown from overstimulation/overwhelm, for example. This is normal for autistic people to experience, but at the time I felt crazy or abnormal and ashamed. These meltdowns still happen, and now I can self-regulate without shame or guilt, use that to heal, and feel more at home in my own body. If this diagnosis is something you disagree with me over, that is not appropriate to bring up to me or discuss with anyone else. This is my medical information, and I'm telling you this with trust and hope for your understanding. This is not a debate. I'm autistic. I love you both very much, but this is a boundary that I will hold firmly. Respecting my identity is important to me. Self-regulating behavior is a constant daily aspect of my life, and I ignored that need for 24 years. I was shamed and bullied out of many natural characteristics as an autistic person, so I hid them or made them a quirk, trying to feel more accepted. I fell into dissociation via compulsive reading as a child, and then when I found substance abuse, I used that until I got sober this May 2021. Alcohol is a form of self-harm and poor coping that I can never accept back into my life again. Holding who I felt like on the inside, even at home, hurt my spirit. There's another part of my identity I want to share with you. I am a trans non-binary man. This means that I don't identify as female as assigned to me at birth, but I'm more masculine non-binary, neither man nor woman. I've never felt like a woman. All I have ever wanted was for you to love me, and I don't think you would after all things you said around me over the years about transgender people and queer people. I also had a lot of internalized transphobia and homophobia I am healing from. I can't live a lie anymore. It was killing me. I hope you can learn to love the person I am today and accept that I am not and never was the mask I wore to keep myself safe. A great resource for education about non-binary people is Beyond the Gender Binary by Alok Valid Manon. Please read it if you can. And please use gender-neutral language and terms for me. Thank you for hearing me. And I hope you can accept both of these parts of my identity now that I have shared them. During the time spent apart from you for the last few months, I have been scared, afraid that if I tell you who I really am, you won't love me anymore, and I can't handle to hear you tell me that to my face. Please know, I will always love you both, even if you reject me for revealing myself to you. I am just Joe, your child, trying to stay alive. I hope you keep love in your heart and take comfort that my ancestors will always be with me to keep me safe and love me unconditionally as I am healing. I hope you are both able to take this information and accept me as myself. I miss you dearly. All my love, Joe. P.S. Dismissal of my voice and self-knowledge will be met with silence. If you do not wish to behave in a way that keeps me safe, accepting me and loving me as I come, then I will not wish to speak to you any longer. Keeping myself alive and safe is number one for me, and people who dismiss me into non-existence are not welcome in my safety net. Transcribed. October expenses. Rent, $1,300. Insurance car, $277.40. LTD work, $33.28. Doctor, $20 plus $30. Phone, $96.05. Loan, $15. Gas, $60.52. Cannabis, $120. $127.28. $170. $417 total. Instacart, October 28, $87.48, $74, $59.42, $56.64, $87.26, $118.88. Total, $479.68. Expense, food, September, $297.24. August, $324.86. July, $392.54. Expense, cannabis, September, $156.07. August, $243.22. July, $368.64. August groceries, $350 to $400 a month. Rent, $1,300. Insurance, $300. Phone, $96.05. Bare minimum, $2,146.05. Plus gas, plus loan, plus anything else. EI equals $2,096. November 5th, 2021. I want to acknowledge the extreme toll the pandemic has taken on people, and to honor those whose mental health was impacted the most. I don't know about every nurse or healthcare provider out there. I can only speak on my own experience. When the pandemic hit in March of 2020, in Canada, it felt very real, serious, and ominous. From my perspective, it felt like a war broke out in front of me. There were sides, protests, and counter-protests, all while we were stuck in isolation rooms with sick and dying children with their parents. 12 hours a day, 1 hour commute on the 400 and 401 highways each way. Over and over, hearing the external world become so dissonant to the reality I was facing in hospital. Even some of the nurses I worked with were anti-vax. Can you imagine the emotional drain it becomes to interact with such cognitive dissonance? To work and believe that you are doing everything you can to keep your patients safe, and the next nurse coming in could treat your same patient with a completely different standard of care based on their opinion about mask policy or vaccinations. Holding myself to the standard I felt was morally and ethically appropriate for my profession was more and more taxing as the gap between reality and the selfish actions of humanity grew. Even now, after I fought and fell in the war, I'm asked and expected to struggle by our government, to push me deeper into poverty while trying to heal my mental health in an effort to place disabled people in a position of life, paying bills and suffering. In an effort to place disabled people in a position of life, paying bills and suffering your health or extreme poverty, in which it's impossible to mentally rest. The conclusion is the government expects me to suffer. Is that why they decriminalize suicide? Are we not allowed to damage state property? I am a piece of meat to our government. To my patients and myself, I am a human being. If I was only treated as such, maybe I would still be a nurse. If people were given access to a living wage, then this situation would not be in place, putting me in a position where I have to contemplate suicide over the idea of being in debt forever. To heal your mind, you need to be given access to thrive, to come out of fight or flight. But until survival mode can turn off, in my opinion, mental health will not improve. In order to have well-rounded people, we need to have access to be educated, emotionally regulated, and feel safe. We as a nation need to place these values on human life and know that our world will still benefit from healthier minds that feel safe. Starving souls, striving for safety, love, compassion, and kindness. Filling the world with love will help restore the balance. Overflow your cup with love. See it in your mind's eye, a fountain of crystal clear water, overflowing with unconditional love, accepting the light and dark, being grateful for learning and growing. November 6, 2021. I sold my car today. Being wise like a beaver with my resources by getting $8,500 to pay off my line of credit card debt to RBC. November 9th, 2021. The bridges you burned, beneath which lie the garbage you earned, trash that represents the careless tossing of life. The last years have been so full of strife. Alone, trying to find home, caught up in the spaces where we played as children. Writing on the wall, who knew this is how it would end? The space is mine, forever preserved in time, a soft memory of careless love, not tainted by the above. But I called on the wrong day, needed you too much, and that's okay. If I am too much, go find less. I will still live my life with my whole chest. Even when you still hate me for shining, I will be the light they reflect and come pining for more, because I have enough to share, nor will I keep it to myself any longer. Do the caterpillars know why they are starving? Does the chrysalis hurt? Does it feel the same way, like it's carving me out of new dirt? Does the caterpillar know what it will be? I didn't know why I was starving, seeking safety. When my wings broke through and I learned to love, to find the eagle's love in each lesson and myself and from above, from each relative I see, known or unknown, and from the willow tree. The willow tree holds my stories. It held my small frame as a child. One of the only comforts as I grew was my favorite tree. Grandma Willow. By the river she sat with me, her roots long and well matured. She held me and listened to my troubles and my tears. And my tears disappeared into her skin. Her branches were refuge and safety in a world that did not understand my spirit. She did though. My grandmother Willow. By the creek bed listened to my stories and my dreams, heard everything and kept it for me, safe for when I returned to her branches to remember myself again. Her daughters and sons call to me still. Not too far from my willow, where I live and walk and let my spirit guide me. They always bring me to a willow by the water, different trees each time, but we know they are not alone. I'm so thankful for my grandmother Willow, for protecting me and my spirit, for holding and keeping me as her own, and for remembering my stories, so I can come and be reminded of who I am. Remember the lilies? The bright orange blossoms bloom fragrant and beautiful. I think I can remember the breeze, the smell of the leaves. Seasons passed, but you stayed to remember. I could write about all the books I've ever loved and then grown up to realize that my perspective on those books those same books changed so much. I could talk about each book, why I bought it, why I didn't read it, why I kept it. Is that interesting? Is that insightful? Probably not. But I've come to learn that a lot of lessons I need to unlearn live in those spaces and dark corners of dissociative reading. Then looking back and going, that was really harmful to have a slave race of elves justified because they quote unquote love it. So many books with my name in donation bins because I can't throw books away even if I don't like them anymore. The books I've kept at 25 years old after a huge life purge. Here's what's survived and why. The Glass Castle, a memoir about childhood abuse and alcoholism, a book that showed me my soul at a young age. All Be Gone in the Dark, Michelle McNamara, a book written looking for answers for crimes never solved, published the year before they caught the SOB. She died before the book was released and never found out she caught him. Let That Shit Go. Haven't read it. I liked the cover and bought it while on shift as a nurse. When I bought it, my life pivoted for the better for sure. November 10th, 2021. If you're waiting for me to apologize, you might be disappointed. Waiting lasts a long time. The other person's time is not seen by you. Their time is precious and being used to heal the wounds. The scars and ugliness you think you see is the healed self. Overwhelming with love for oneself, ultimate compassion. Why are you waiting for something I won't do? I'm not going to come back begging for you. Thank you for leaving. I'm glad that you're gone. I am still healing, but it's time to move on. I don't want to fight you or even know why. It doesn't matter to me, for you've left your own reasons. You left for your own reasons. I have to just take that and move on with my life, tattered and in tears of trying to please you. It doesn't matter to me. You left for your own reasons. I just have to take that and move on with my life, tattered and in tears. I shed all those years of trying to please you. Instead, I would freeze too. Too far. I went too far again. I will just keep driving in this until this song ends, and then the next one hit me like, oh. Inspiration. Quote, the thing with anger, it begs to stick around. That the thing with anger, it begs to stick around. November 11th, 2021. I think this book might be a puzzle in the way that I write a piece or two each day, and I hope by the end I can put them all together and make something cohesive and beautiful. I think that the hardest part is finding and looking at each piece, sorting them before you start, the waiting. But you're not waiting, you are preparing, and also working on a task that is an essential step. It's impossible for me to complete the final work without the careful, slow, piece-by-piece method. So, for now, I will keep writing until I am ready to put it all together as one artwork. Is this how all authors feel? Or do other people just know the story? The plan is the beginning and the writing is the execution. I wonder what will happen when I write without a plan or outline. Will the pages line up? Will you see me? I'm here. In these pages, I will live forever with you in time. And if that's true, do you want to sit with me here, now, and know what it's like? Do you care enough to listen to me share my room and my space with you? I guess if you keep reading, you do. I am Joe, sitting by the window, where I've sat for months on end seeking healing in a world of pain. I wish my tits didn't make me feel like taking a knife to my chest and carving the real me out of the vessel that holds me bound in this prison. But when I say suck my dick, it helps me get through it. to find yourself being reshaped like clay, remolded by divinity, and cast into a new shape. In a dream, I was married by the sunflowers in full bloom. All that lay under that tree was my doom. I ran away, escaped, and tried to find my way beyond this pain. I swam, kicking and drowning, gulping and grounding slowly. Like braided rope, I cut each piece from me, pulled the roots out of me, freed myself of all that bound me. Tear free from what holds you down. What belongs to you will stay. In good light and divine timing will show you what is the path to walk. Walk forward each step in your mind. Don't step on dark spaces. Only light stairs reach salvation. You see the light and love around you. These people are those are the people who will guide you to the path you are meant to walk in grace and kindness. Ego will ask you to blindly trust, but faith will trust you to know the truth. The universe doesn't care if you win or lose. It's your choice. So choose to win. I love myself and I deserve a life lived well and in happiness and without ego. And if I win the lottery on that path, then I was meant for that. And I will use that money for the good of my community and to help as many people survive as possible. Human life is not being taken seriously in this day and age, and I need resources to be able to help fight back. When I win the metaphorical lottery, I will use it to buy land and give everyone free rent until they want to move. Fix the buildings and do all the repairs and maintenance needed for the last many years. Make as much of a positive impact on the unhoused community members as well. Providing safe, secure, and free housing for anyone who I am able seems like the best use of my metaphorical lottery money. No sobriety needed or anything. Just humans needing shelter and love. Vegetable gardens and winter refuge seem very important in these times of skyrocketing prices. November 12th, 2021. You are drowning in the river you flooded yourself. Riptides pulled you under, but they are built of your own fear. You can't back down from it. Stepping back only delays and prolongs your suffering. Pain is a warning your spirits are in trouble. How can you see this when you're in the bubble of your own mind? In the reality you mind dug deep into bedrock to prove you belonged in the past, but hating yourself won't last. I hope when you fall you have someone catching you, but it won't be me. You made sure of that when you drew the line in the sand, chasing after the band like you do. Chase the fame and the money when you can't face the fear. You won't get very far because being yourself pays better. Cookie cutters weren't my thing. Never liked a lot of bling. Wish you could have been on my journey jet setter, but you picked your fear over good health together. So I will build my wealth alone. November 13th, 2021. Decolonizing yourself, your mind in regards to yourself, and then into your perspective of the world and how it functions. Transphobia is the largest gateway into the pipeline of the alt-right. This transphobia is based in colonized shame, trying to prescribe ideas of gender to the land that lived in with many gender expressions. Reading beyond the gender binary and more from Alok V. Menon will build a stronger foundation of decolonizing on an individual level. And by knowing intersectional feminism, we know that everything goes from individual to systemic. The colonizers' ways, starting much before they landed on the Turtle Island. The Romans colonized Britain following the Iron Age of the indigenous people on the British Isle. Then it became the quote-unquote British Empire and colonized again in India, on Turtle Island, and across the Commonwealth. The British Iron Age did not deserve their history and culture destroyed, and neither do these people. We can stop this before it gets worse and further harm is done. We can stop this by decolonizing our land, people, and minds. To remember what stories the trees hold, to hear the land as we would on land that grew us and our ancestors. Your land calls you. British soil or Turtle Island, the land is similar and colonization harms them both. The destruction of lives, culture, and religion is entertainment for the modern person. Just archaeology on TV. What your ancestors must feel for the loss of that history, just as the people now feel for the loss of theirs. If Turtle Island welcomed your body on this island with its open arms, why betray the land and its people? Land is not for taking, it is for living upon and growing with, not for draining or mining. The land isn't going to let you take its soul. The people are the soul of this land and they will never disappear, no matter how much violence they face. For the dark cannot exist without the light, but it's time for the scales of balance to come into play now. Don't you think it's been tipped the wrong way for way too long? How fun would it be if the natural dark forces of the land showed the leeches of the land what real power is, to show them the mighty force that has called in justice before? How do I convey this to other people well? Free marketing campaign? Website is a start. Need brand. Needs a plan. Songs? CGAF with flair. Why did you call me if you knew you'd lie? If you knew how it would be, why did you lie to me? Why did you start this fantasy? You picked up a picture to remember, fell in love with an idea, painted too still. Did the frame not hold my spark? To remember in the dark that I'm not to be fucked with. Why would you start this chain if all you brought to me was pain? All the drinking and driving, lying and conniving, all can't even look at your face with kindness. All I see is the person who mined this, the gem shiny and bright, even if not in the light, worn edges now cut away anything that would shut me down. The man here today survived that person. Time may worsen the outlook on you. We know that it's true. You took it all away. I wish you never came that day. The hotter bubbles clouded my mind. I opened them to find my world destroyed. But I was so annoyed. But you can't break. This time I'll make myself better armor to find my amour, to find the love I really deserve. To serve as fulfillment and joy, not a chore to toy around and then forget. Why wasn't it you? Why did you decide to ruin my life like that? Leave me in pieces to pick up slowly, to make me feel lowly or lonely. I don't understand. November 14th, 2021. Dust. A speck of dust in a history. The future is a mystery, but you're not a spot. You are the spear, the arrow that shot out of the space between worlds, to come into this time, to go from bouncing curls to the edge of the mine. The shaft I dug deep to keep the monsters away. But the barking came to creep, and I couldn't stay. I had to run. It wasn't fun. But remember, you're a ribbon weaving through the fabric of life. You're beautiful, stunning. Your wings fly high through strife, through the shunning. As you step into the light, no need for fright. The battle's hardly won, but the balance goes on. To keep in check the life I'd wreck. If I didn't get better, if I didn't see what I was doing, why would you keep me so far away from the main stage? I don't remember it. Not too well. Therapy. It's not about anyone else. It's about you. It's about the choices you make and the rules you break. It's about the window pane glass coming through. The stained glass colorful as new. Boundaries firm, and I want to step down from the worm in my brain. Feel the pain of the sights of the past, and the time doesn't last. You knew who I was, and in all the buzz of me trying to keep from drowning, you left. You left me alone. how I always had been. I just didn't know you'd throw it out like nothing one day. I didn't know what to say. Boundaries firm, and I want answers. Now, from the worm in my brain, feel the pain of the past, and the time doesn't last. Turning this page wasn't supposed to feel like sparking a match. Instead, I just hope there's someone to catch you when you fall, and that they answer your call. You knew who I was, and in all the buzz of trying to keep from drowning, you left. It's okay if I needed you too much. I'm sorry for my touch. I'll take myself and our unspokenness. I'll try to heal from my distress. And when I'm shining as brightly as I want, but I hope I haunt your regrets. November 16th, 2021. A persuasive essay. Land back. This land is your land. This land is our land. To Vancouver Island. But this land belongs, really, to the people who have lived here for so long. The trees remember their ancient history on the land. The people has been taken from their communities and homes and families, murdered, and so much violence against them that the fact that they stand tall today is a proof of the divine. The land has been taken care of by them and their ways, even as they were colonized and after that land theft. They still have language, stories, and memories of their ancestors because the land remembers with them. The water holds them and cares for them. Our people came here to take and to have what was not ours by birth. Broken treaties show how much the colonizers thought of the people they stole from. Thieving colonizers took even the beautiful cliffs and mountains and carved white faces in them to prove they belong as rulers of the nation. Turtle Island is too big for one nation. By giving land back and breaking current municipalities into those local nations would give more control and nuance to governance. The people I want making decisions are those who are the ancient caretakers of the land I live on, and the people I stole it from should have the ability to govern over it and have it returned as rightful owners of the land. Queen E, quote-unquote, owns the land. But why does she sit on the broken treaties of her deathbed? Why not rectify the wrongs of your colonizing family had done? As a descendant of a long line of colonizers on both sides, I know the only reparations I can give anyone is the change needed in the world. To influence the people I can to bring justice forth for all people and caretakers that will consider life, not just profit. The land-back government, using post-World War II Germany as a guide to improve upon, is a way to guide the eradication of white supremacy and Nazi culture from Turtle Island and prosecute all violence under the white supremacy harshly and without limitations. We are living in what people think is history, but when realized we are in history now, I knew I had to start writing. This time is so weird because I can have clarity about the system, the racism, and all the problems, and the people still don't see that the selfish, money-hungry system needs to change. Even after pandemic, the clear signs of how higher powers even think of us. Can insert something about nursing here? Romans colonized British Isles, and then the British stole Turtle Island and then raped it, continuing to this day to commit violence against the native people daily. November 19th, 2021. November skies the past few years have been cloudy and dark, held onto by the lark that held my heart, who flew away when the game they liked to play fell through. And when I reached out for you, you weren't there. I reached out to an emptiness. The void grabbed my hand where you should have been. And I waltzed with me through the sorrow, and we danced, the darkness and I. through the nights of endless screaming and tears, alone, held only by the darkness. I used to think we could create together, but the storms moved on. There's better weather. You like the rain, I guess. Followed the storm into the darkness. I hope it holds you softly like it held me. Thank you for leaving. I'm glad that you're gone. I am still grieving, but it's time to move on. My flame inside is lit once more, and I know the score will never show how this lump of clay became sculpted and shaped by my own divinity. I found infinity in the void, in the space between us, in the gap in the school bus. All are one. Joe, they. November 20th, 2021. Wandering the world out here, am I safe? Do I look at each face to see if I know? Have I seen them before? Did I see the person you knew but called a whore? Who wished they had the chance to hit you once more? Did I see them dance? Did you tear off their pants? I am safer to know the monster's face, to hold my head high in grace, and hope the heads of all who once felt small rise up and stand tall. We want to see your face too, the truth, the face of justice revealed, maybe still unhealed, but tall, even in the fall, when the leaves remind them of that day. But you didn't stay. However they got away, they escaped you and named you too. Now, know now, if I see you, black and blue. The truth, the face of justice revealed, maybe still unhealed, but tall, even in the fall. November 22nd, 2021. I don't know if you remember, but every time I made a big decision about my own body, you acted like I did something to you. In the reclaiming of myself, you acted like I burned you. Is that because I was washing off the control you had over my body and my choice? My power was returning with each tattoo or haircut you hate, tantrums that made me thankful we never owned a gun. Grade 7, at 12 or 13, I cut my hair to my ears and you didn't talk to me for a week. It didn't matter how you felt about a haircut that turned out much different than I wanted. Having a breakdown about the wrong cut, all while I cried alone trying to fix what you acted like I broke. Another girl's dad might ask her how to help or compliment their kid for a new do. Not you. When I got a tattoo with my sister, you tore the house apart like I was the one setting it on fire. When you found a fluffy, erotic fanfiction on my iPod, you made fun of me for wanting to call CPS. I didn't feel safe in your home, especially when it came to choices about my own body. Your silence about my coming out is loud. Your kid has needed parents for 25 years, and I am alone. I am now safe, at least. I can choose again. I had to teach myself how to listen to myself, and I still struggle. I struggle so deeply because I was not prepared, Ted. I was at Dora's or I was at home fending for myself. Your words, not mine. Too young to be that responsible without any training or care. Without a teacher, learning becomes survival, trial and error. I have survived, and that's what I'm best at. But I'm not good at love, because no one taught me or loved me in a way that showed me I was safe. You expect a relationship with a child you never made a relationship with to begin with. I wasn't born to love you. I thought I knew what love was until I learned that love isn't codependent or mean. It gives you your space to speak and breathe, to feel comfortable in your skin without having to hide your hands in your sleeves. I wear myself proudly because I'm the only person who has kept me alive. Everyone else has pushed me closer to death with delicate egos. Well, I hope your ego finds its place in the pit you're all in. Hell seems fitting for such a thick, fluid monster. Who dug the pit to hell? It was you, with lies and abuse. Now you sit in bed and try to forget the horrible things you did to your own children, to know what you did and still face the mirror without shame. I hope the fame carries your image to another realm where you learn what I had to do to earn this healing, this self-love you tried to beat out of me. Well, I climbed the mountain to find that I only reached the top of the ledge, looking up at the edge. The love I feel helps me heal. Each step forward is in love for myself and my future. Our people and land need land back now. Time to begin heal the nations who live on Turtle Island.